case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
For what it's worth, the curling community, very impressed with Lavelle breaking it down like he's at the pulpit. Preach, brother, is the way one member of the curling community put it. He's gotten into it. There's no question about that.
How can you not?
He has tackled it admirably over many years, quite frankly. And now it's as if it's almost second nature to him. I think here's the vow, or here's my challenge to him. Find a way to write almost as many curling columns this summer as baseball columns, because I think even then, non-peak season, there may be more people interested in the curling columns than Twins columns.
They might be.
You can't rule that out, especially with the news that you're going to confirm and repeat.
First, it's February 17th. Happy heavenly birthday.
Well, go Twins. Thank you for the airtime, and I'll talk to you soon.
How long's
To Rick Majerus.
Rick Majerus been gone?
He has been gone for
Too long,
14 years.
14 years.
Almost 14 years.
Oh, my God.
Happy birthday to Michael Jordan.
Oh.
And happy birthday to my mom, Peggy.
Oh, happy birthday.
Who
yeah,
listens every
absolutely.
day.
For sure.
And if I don't tell her that I'm going to be gone, she panics. I'll say,
what do you mean?
Well, like, if, I'm gone a lot, obviously, especially now this time.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And so she'll say, like, did you go with the team? Are you traveling?
Right,
Why are you off today? Yeah. Why is Brett Blakemore doing the top 5 at 5? Just relax. But she's as loyal a listener as we possibly get.
She's proven that over the years.
So happy birthday to Peggy and her twin sister, my Aunt Bo.
Yeah.
And appreciate you listening. And yeah, Majerus and Jordan.
Which twin was born first, do you know?
I don't. I'm sure
you should know that.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I've been told.
That's important.
One of the funny things in our family is actually like the little, and my kids have now done this. Mm-hmm. They just they call my Aunt Bo like their other grandma. Or like my oldest son, who's 11, just called her 2 because she was the second.
Okay, right.
And when they're little, they don't know who the hell's who.
And you need shorthand.
And so like some of our, older cousins were like teenagers and had no idea which aunt was actually,
right.
Peggy and which aunt was Aunt Bo.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of having twins.
That's the beauty of it.
So anyway, we will hear from 2 voices from the dead today. 2 former bumper-to-bumper regulars, because Pablo Lopez made me think of this today.
And I let you down, and that was out of my control. I let Coach Wooden down, I let my dad down, and now I've let Dan Barrero
down.
Oh, man.
God.
Final Four coming out. That's
so
still
good.
Not the same without Bill Walton.
No, it's not even close. So has it been 2 years?
It's been a couple, yeah.
Yeah. Is this the second Final Four without him or third?
I feel like it's the third. This will be the third. Maybe the second where he's passed away. The one before, he just wasn't available.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
And that was when he couldn't come in studio in Minneapolis leading up to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But he joined us at the convention center in 2019.
He did, that's right.
Days later. From when, and we had like 45 minutes with him, thanks to Charlie Barker, but yeah.
And I let you down, and that was out of my control. I let Coach Wooden down, I let my dad down, and now I've let Dan Barrero.
No,
Coach Wooden, Mr. Walton, and you.
In that order. I was hoping for a little bigger order. Well, that was the same day we got John Thompson, correct?
It may have been the same day. It was certainly the same Final
weekend.
Four.
Yeah, it probably was all that Friday. It had to be.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been.
I mean, when you have Bill Walton and John Thompson same day or within a 2-day period, that's hard. It's hard to top that during Final Four weekend.
Still the greatest line. One of my favorite top 5 to 10 lines of all time. When the first Final Four, 2010,
yes,
and we had John Thompson.
Yes, I know where you're going.
Because you say this all the time.
Yes,
I guess all the time. I don't want to keep you too long. And John Thompson's the only one that's ever gone, you've already done that.
That's true.
So good. Because you say that all the time.
All the time.
I've kept you too long.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you too long. But just 5 to 7 more things.
Let's give me like another 23 minutes.
I don't want to keep you too long.
Right.
You've already done that.
It's how you try to buy him off for even longer.
Thompson was not here for it.
But Thompson was the one.
But he stayed.
He did stay. So did Lou Olson.
The other great, that was great too. The other great Thompson line from his final appearance in 2019, and I use this one all the time. He was bitter that so many point guards just become coaches and not enough post players.
I don't remember that.
And he said, everybody assumes that because the guard's out there, holding up two fingers, that he's smart. He goes, I played with a lot of dumb point guards.
That's right. I
played with a lot of dumb guards. It's just a brilliant way to put it.
Yes.
But anyway, the Bill Walton, Pablo Lopez connection is Lopez said it today. I don't think he said John Wooden, his dad, and you, but he said, I already feel I'm letting a lot of people down. I'm letting myself down. I'm letting the Twins down. I'm letting my family down. Well, what did Pablo Lopez do? Well, nothing on purpose, but he has a torn ligament.
He tried to pitch.
He tried to be the day one starter, which is his role, which is what he loves to be. But he will not be this year. At least we don't think so. He is going to get a second opinion, but he has a significant tear in the UCL of his right elbow, which likely means Tommy John.
His second Tommy John operation
is in his future.
Devastating news to a team. You could do the snark and say, well, what's at stake? But awfully good pitcher, awfully productive guy. One of the few people I think you felt like you can count on, right? To offer something professional. If on the slim chance you want to watch the Twins or want to go to a Twins game. And if you lived in the fantasy world to think, well, every year weird things happen. Teams do stuff they're not supposed to do. Obviously, a healthy Pablo Lopez was going to have to be at the top of that list because without him, whatever depth you felt you had is indeed gone. And as Lavo pointed out to us, between 4:30 and 5, he may never pitch for the Twins again. He may never pitch again.
Right.
But he most assuredly, I think there's a good reason to think he might not end up pitching for this club. So he misses. How many games did he miss last year? I have to look that up. He missed a bunch last year, didn't he?
Yes, I think I have it here.
So that's the disappointing part of knowing you got a pro's pro and how little the last 2 years we got out of him. Even though when he was good, we got plenty out of him, right? You mentioned celebrating that first playoff victory, but that's the sad reality of the situation that we're indeed in.
Yeah, in that year, 2023, he was an all-star, was 7th in Cy Young Award voting. Remember, they signed him in the middle of that season, too, because we got him in the Luis Ariz trade.
Those are the days. And
they signed him to a very reasonable, good extension for all sides. And, he had 3 different injury list stints a year ago. I don't know how many games he actually pitched.
14.
Man.
Pitched in 14 games last year. That's it. Started 14 games, and that's obviously not nearly enough. After going the previous 3 seasons, 32, and 32,
right.
He went 14. The first of those 3 was not with the Twins. So for the Twins, it was 32, 32, and 14.
Damn. After being traded from the Timberwolves and then traded from the Bulls to the Hornets and then waived by the Hornets, Mike Conley is officially back. The 38-year-old has appeared in over 1,200 games in 19 seasons, and he is back on a prorated veterans minimum. Not only is he back with the Timberwolves, he will be back on Bumper to Bumper at 3 o'clock on Thursday.
3 o'clock Thursday.
3 o'clock
now
Thursday.
Confirmed. Outstanding.
Confirmed Mike Conley, 3 o'clock on Thursday.
Well, I got more for you. Confirmed 4 to 5 in studio on Thursday. Patrick Royce is going to stop by.
It's all coming together.
Get caught up for the first time in quite some time. We were supposed to have him at the fair, remember?
I do.
And then tragedy got in the way.
I do. I remember it well.
By the way, one more note on Pablo. I guess I didn't remember this. 14 games started last year. ERA at 2.74. 5-4.
He's good.
He's very good.
He's good. And he's a great dude.
Wasn't a bad run. It wasn't a bad run. So Conley is officially back. I guess, and I didn't know you could do this. Apparently, he's also going to be designated as player coach in charge of foul moods for the Minnesota Twins. That's his designation, so that even if he doesn't play as many minutes as he did before, he'll have a role that hopefully will be helpful to this team.
Bring gas.
And will get us out of these silly, bad moods that apparently we're in because we have a very moody bunch.
It is funny that you say that because it always offends me because of how revered Conley is in that locker room,
Correct.
right? Everybody likes him. Ant has said it a million times. They're trying to win a title for him. They feel bad when they lose for him. But then I watch how they play, and like Mike Conley's there. Like I could never be in a bad mood if I was around Mike Conley all the time. I'd look over and
it'd be
go,
impossible, yeah.
I go, the guy's 38 years old.
Yeah.
He's given us everything he has.
Yeah.
He's played 19 years. He's played every role. Obviously, he's not the player that he once was. that happens. But how can I look at this guy, Mike Conley, and not have it tonight? That's what's difficult for me.
Here's, have you ever thought of it this way? And of course, the stories are legendary. Never received a technical foul, right?
Yes.
So if you're a ref, would you say, privately, you would never admit this publicly, that my one remaining goal before I retire from NBA refdom is to force a technical foul out of Mike Conley, to get him going some way that leaves him with no choice but to finally melt down. That'd be quite a feather in your cap.
It would be.
Would it not?
To be the one guy.
The guy who calls a technical on Mike Conley.
But that also might, in a weird way, ruin your career because everyone's going to take Mike Conley's side. Everybody likes him.
That's also true,
They say
you have to accept
You're
that.
going to tee up Conley? That's what you want your legacy to be?
You'd have to accept it for sure.
All right, let's hit the straddle.
All right, let's do it. Louis will join at 5:30 tonight. We'll get to some good texts that have come in, and who knows what else. Stay tuned. There's a lot of enmity out there surrounding the Minnesota Twins. I think that's fair to say. We can debate whether that's helpful, too hateful, whatever the case may be. But there are people out there saying, well, I don't root for a solid professional player getting hurt. What they're telling me is it's Twins karma. That the team itself deserves what it's getting in this case, even if the individual does not deserve it. It's kind of a, uncomfortable way to look at it, but it does speak to what any of these poll ads are dealing with here. And again, we've said this before, that if somebody else owned this team, it might not be any different or any better, and it would the new group would be celebrated simply because they weren't named Polat. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be great, but that would be the advantage that anybody would indeed have. I just continue to be gobsmacked is not a strong enough term.
You need a level up from gobsmacked.
I need a level up from gobsmacked to explain how I feel about Tom Pohlad bringing up the Valdez, wrinkle. Like, I just don't know how. Because the assumption is he does calculate some of this stuff out. It doesn't just come blurting out of his mouth. Maybe that's my mistake. Maybe it does. He's viewed as this guy who's a little bit, smarter about this stuff and a little bit, more adult about it and all that. And I'm going, how there's not a chance in hell that if you really thought about that, you'd think it makes sense to whisper this out loud as if it's some kind of feather in your cap or the Twins' cap, that they identified a really good starting pitcher who was available. As if that meant, well, give us points for that. We
called him.
We were thinking about it.
We sent a couple of texts.
And he even did the quote. Imagine. I mean, what's the one thing that would infuriate any of the remaining Twins fans? It's somebody fantasizing over having, and this, of course, was back before we knew about Pablo, a 1-2-3 starting pitching punch like this. You go, well, yeah, of course, but all you're doing is reminding people of how far away the Twins are from that. Because nobody in their right mind thinks that they made any kind of competitive or reasonable offer, so you can call the agent, you can call any agent. What difference does it make? it is literally not only immaterial, it's irrelevant. It has no merit whatsoever. And all it does do, you're better off. The reason you're better off not bringing it up is all you're doing is reminding people that, well, they didn't get him.
Correct.
Even if you think you were close to getting him, it's a tantalizing thing. He's not here. His uniform number is not here. There's no commemorative print. And again, you know and I know they didn't finish second. If there is such a thing, as if it matters, and people keep telling me, oh, this guy's got a little sharper, a little something more on the ball. He's talking to everybody. He's in the clubhouse every day. He's in the break room. He's chatting with the kitchen people. He's okay. That's great, and that's never a bad thing, I guess, when you're trying to get acquainted as the guy or whatever. But whatever good you think you're doing, you've literally destroyed it and nullified it by this silly little tease, as if you think people are going to go, whoa, wow. Tigers may have gotten them.
Vladi Divac.
But we were right in this thing after we've just deducted, like I said, what is it, between the last two off seasons, $65 million.
Yep.
This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's just me. Yeah, no one can find a word beyond gobsmacked, but we'll keep looking for one. Has anyone verified that if the Twins actually even contacted the Valdez camp? No. I mean, I haven't seen a jackal, a media jackal who has yet, to my knowledge. Maybe somebody has finally done that. But I'll say again, we all can contact whoever we want, make a phone call to whatever entity we want to be connected with, right? But that doesn't mean we're connected to that entity, right? I mean, it's a distinction without a difference. And the fact that he thought it was worth saying tells me he's not as, ready for this role as other people have said that he indeed is. So the whole thing is very strange.
Yeah, I think gobsmacked is like the best word. I mean, I've got synonyms
maybe I've overplayed
here.
It. That's the problem.
Dumbfounded,
I've probably
astounded,
it.
astonished, stupefied, flabbergasted, speechless, awestruck, flummoxed, bamboozled, discomposed. I kind of like that one.
That's not a bad one. Gobsmacked is better. I just probably use it too much. So there's like nowhere to go.
That's true.
If I've used it as often as because it's a very good one. What Tom Pohlad did was utter codswallop. Look up that word.
Oh, we've used it before.
I have used it.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
That's a Harry. I first, I think, heard that word popularized in one of the Harry Potter films, if I'm not mistaken. Codswallop means rubbish, right? Ridiculous, meaningless, a joke. Look up codswallop.
It's nonsense.
Nonsense, yeah. It's a good word, too.
Rubbish, foolish, untrue statement. Malarkey.
Yeah, malarkey doesn't sound as,
to quote former President Biden,
as codswallop, I don't think. But in any case, that's pretty much where we are. If you have questions for Luigi, now's the time. Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line is open at 646-86. Kessler tomorrow. I'm looking ahead in the abyss. As I said, you mentioned Mike Conley at the top of the show.
On Thursday. Royce in studio at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And is Gessling back this week, or is he still... I think he's back. I'm pretty sure he's
still
back.
Drinking the broccoli juice somewhere.
He might be. Yeah, he was hanging out in California last weekend.
Yeah.
Which we're happy for him.
Yeah, he had to make sure
his phone worked well enough to send the picture to us, but not to use, apparently, to join the show.
Yeah, what did he have an explanation for that, or you just said,
I'm
out
he was
of town?
On vacation. Yeah.
Well, I guess he has a right to that, doesn't he?
Sure.
To a certain extent.
We'll mark it down.
Yeah.
Russo, maybe when he returns.
Yeah, here, Jeff from Richfield. Jay-Z might have ended up with Beyonce, but I almost landed her. I sent her an Instagram message once. That's the same.
That's it.
It's the same thing.
Yes.
That's a good analogy right there. It's just, and like I said, Lavelle, shall we say, championed a similar cause with the Yu Darvish nonsense. Now, the Yu Darvish thing might have actually been an offer, at least we could say. But even then, I just don't think it meant anything. And the Twins clearly wanted to leak it because they're looking for anything to make them, right, look slightly better. I just think that was how many years ago in Yu Darvish? A bunch.
Long time ago. 5
to 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it was leading up to the World Series year.
A long time.
Which was 10 years ago
10
now.
years ago. So my point is then somebody might have wanted to believe it, but now this many years later and this many iterations in Twins Pohlad baseball later, no one's going to even come close to championing that or getting any kind of buzz out of it like, hey, around the water cooler, hey, did you see? We were in the Valdez sweepstakes. How do you know? Well, that's what
Tom Pohlad
said.
Tommy P.
Yeah, it's just nothing could elicit greater ridicule around the water cooler at this point. Although I don't even know, are there enough people coming to work anymore for there to be a folks assembling around a water cooler? You know what I'm saying? Not that many.
I mean, when I'm making coffee in our Keurigs here through construction,
we do have a water cooler right there now.
We talk, we chat.
You guys do bond?
Yeah, there's been some bonding there.
All right, fair enough.
It's in the pit. We didn't talk about the Valdez thing.
I'm going to get some coffee reheated, my foo-foo drink reheated, and then we'll prepare to chat with Luigi. Lou Nanne is, if you have questions, 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Stay tuned.
Well, she sneaks around the world from India to Carolina. She's a sticky finger filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take me for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me where in the world is Lou Nanne?
We're about to find out. Louis, of course, brought to you by our good friends at Kemp's. 64686 if you have questions or observations for Louis. In fact, I got to find one that came into my iHeart email earlier today that, as I recall, was pretty juicy as we say hi to Luigi via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. How are you, sir?
Very good. How you doing?
Well, I'm, living the dream. We're talking about the bad. You probably have heard the bad Twins news. Pablo Lopez's season is already over. It's unbelievable how these things happen in baseball. I guess they say if you get Tommy John surgery, you're lucky if you get 6 or 7 good years after that before you need the next one. It's amazing.
That is incredible. It's unfortunate, and two ways. It's unfortunate for the team, but it's also for the player. It's just when you got that kind of talent, and you see your career getting really halted a number of times during the length of it. It's tough to take.
Yeah, there's no question. Have you, when you were general manager, did you ever brag about almost getting a player? Because, this is coming up now with the new Pohlad. The latest Pohlad is Tom Pohlad, and he's making everybody know that, the Tigers may have gotten this big-time free agent pitcher, Framber Valdez, but we were interested, and that does nothing for people, I don't think. I mean, as you know, if you finish second, you might as well finish last when it comes to acquiring a player.
Well, I understand to see some people want to show that they're in it, they're fighting for it, but I never wanted to do that, and the reason why I didn't do it was because I didn't want anybody to think that they turned us down. They went to somewhere else.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think that looks very good.
True.
So.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't want anybody to know that I made an offer to the guy, but he said, no, I don't want yours. I'm going to take the other guy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just had that kind of feeling, so we had occasion where that happened, but I never talked about not getting Adam Oates, who became a Hall of Fame player, because we followed him. We were going to get him, and then all of a sudden Detroit upped the offer to $250,000 to sign, and I went to Gordon. I says, "Well, it's going to cost us $250." Oh no, that's too much money. Well, I like this guy; he's pretty good. No, we're not doing it. So I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, all my life I watched that guy play, become a Hall of Fame player, and I could have had him because I was in the driver's seat. I'd followed him all year, been with the coach, and got close to the coach and the agent, so I knew I was getting him. But then we didn't live up to the price. So that's what I said, yeah, but we wouldn't pay it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the issue. Well, but that's a lot more specific, I think, than what we're hearing in this case too. But as you say, you don't want that out at the time, because especially you don't even want it out after, because as you say, then it's the indictment of, well, we just didn't pony up the money.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, and now I think statute of limitations is over, so I can probably tell you. You know, Glenn Sealer and I were really close. And we had two good teams at the time. You know, Edmonton was just starting to become great, and we were very good at the time. And there were a couple of free agents, and I'm not going to tell you their names because if I ever get charged, but I would call him and say, "Oh, Glenn, this one's mine. I'm going to offer him 25 to play and 10 to sign, and you offer him 20 and 10." So I get that player next year. He got this other guy. I offered him 20, he offered him 25, same thing to sign. So the guy always goes for more money. So we worked that out a little ways. That way we were able to keep our costs what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I think, you probably, I'm guessing the statute of limitations run out, but that sounds like collusion is what it sounds like.
Sure, the definition of collusion.
But I didn't look at it as collusion.
No.
I looked at it as good business.
Good business, yeah, exactly it. And it's so long ago, it's
Your
in another.
Honor.
Yeah, I think you're going to be fine now. I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. I found the question. This came in actually Monday night at 8:40 last night. This is how much you're on his mind. And this program is. Well, you ask Luigi the following. It seems like all the talk of the Wild trading a goaltender for a center involves Wallstedt and not Gustafsson. Why? Wallstedt's 4 years younger. Next year will make $4 million less and is arguably better. Send the Gus bus out of town and keep the wall, the Great Wall of St. Paul. That's from Pete, a Wild fan living in Alabama. What do you think? What do you have to say to Pete?
Well, the why is because Gus has done more. If you've got a longer track record, the one thing you have to guard against is if you get a guy with a 1 year wonder. And so if Wallstedt had 3 years and Gus had 4, then you could understand it. But when you have 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, then you're always a little skeptical until you have a little more record to give you some judgment on. And I think that's the only reason why. And you can't wait for the record to get closer, because by then that time has passed to get the player. But I'd have to say, it all depends what they truly feel. They don't tell you what they feel about Wallstedt right now. They say they're happy, and they should be happy, and he's proven to be a pretty solid goaltender all the way through. But do they think there's any, parts of his game that bothers them, that they're not playing him? If you take a look at when they were going through the streak here at the end, just before the break, Gus was playing like 2 out of every 3 games. Yes,
right.
And why is that? If you feel as comfortable with the other guy, you want them both rested. You would want to keep the same rhythm. But it seems to me, I'm not certain that that's the truth, but it seems to me they got more confidence in Gus right now. And that goes to what the staff and especially the goaltending coach thinks. And so maybe that's what they're basing this stuff on, whether they'd want to get rid of Gus already if they're sure enough about Wallstedt where they'd make that move.
Speaking of goaltending, this comes from Rob out of Bloomington. We asked Louie if the Wild fans should be concerned about Gus not playing well and getting benched for the Swedish team and Wally not even playing.
Well, you can't say he's not even playing. They played 4 games. He played 2. He played the first 2. And there were an occasion or two where maybe they weren't happy with the goal. So Markstrom goes in the next 2. And today he didn't have to be great, but he had to be good enough. And Swede won 5-1. And so I think Markstrom definitely will play against the U.S. tomorrow. That game, by the way, really concerns me. Even though they're missing Brody, they got a couple of players that weren't able to come and play. Swedes are always tough in international competition, and they get tougher as it goes longer. And essentially, the U.S. got a bad break that Sweden was so much off their game early, where they ended up in that bracket where they were seated so low. Because they're better than some of the teams that are seated higher. If the U.S. wins tomorrow, which they should be favored to win, but it's going to be a tough game, their next game, I think, will be easier than this game. And because basically the two easier, lower seeds, in my mind, are going to be playing, and they'd have an easier game getting to the gold medal if they are able to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit. It has a feeling of nervousness to it, does it not?
Yeah, it does. And they looked good today. They played good. They were moving the puck really well, skating well.
They beat
Power play
Latvia.
was good.
Yeah, 5-1.
Goaltending was good. They were solid all the way through. And the Swedes just have a history of being tough in World Championship hockey. That's the Olympics and the Worlds. And as do the Finns. Those are two teams that are so accustomed to playing in that atmosphere and seem to bring their best game when they need it the most in that tournament. And I'm telling you, they're good, just like the World Juniors this year. Gets right down to it. Then those are the two teams. They just seem to find a way to get the best out of their players when it really counts.
Canada has certainly looked the part so far, has it not?
Oh my God, they look so powerful, and I think it's essentially masking what their weakness could be, because you don't get to the goaltending and keeping the puck in their defensive zone much, because these guys, the forwards, are so explosive, so fast, and they move the puck so well that they just put pressure on you all the way through. And McDavid's playing like a caged animal. He's, he always wanted to play. I remember, and this goes back years. Well, I want to say about 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, when I was still sitting on the USA board, international hockey, and we were making decisions. Well, are the pros going to play or not play? And there was, there was a time the pros weren't able to play there. And I remember the Players Association executive director says, well, McDavid wants to play in the Olympics. He's never played in the Olympics. And I said, well, that was because of his choice. He chose to go right at 18 years old, right to the NHL. Yeah. He could have sat out that year and played in the Olympics. It was either that year or next year. So I said, got to change all the rules because McDavid wants to play. Because I said, a lot of people, including myself, stayed out when we could have turned pro at that time to play in the Olympics as amateurs, because pros couldn't play at that time. So this guy's been driven to play in the Olympics. That's what he's always wanted to do, and so he is playing, and he's the best player in the world, and he's playing like it. He's going to be so tough to stop.
Adam in White Bear Lake writes, Dan Luigi was right. Someone was going to get hurt in the Olympics. Fiala's done for the season now, and I didn't see the play, but was it a questionable hit? He adds, I hope Wild players come out of these Olympics unscathed. We did talk about this before it began, right? That was your biggest concern.
No doubt that somebody's going to get hurt. I just hope that it's over, although I don't think it is, because now you're getting,
now it gets interesting.
As you get closer to the medal round,
yes.
The intensity is just going to, if it's possible to ramp up, it's going up. And the reason why it gets even more is because these games are more competitive now as you get closer to the end than the earlier ones, where you had some teams that weren't as good, and you were dominating the games. You weren't in that position, and it wasn't a bad hit. It was Wilson was coming. He really wasn't coming hard, and it looked like Fiala went to reverse check him where he was unsuspecting, which he did, and it looked like Wilson lost his balance and fell on him. And it wasn't it was by no means something intentional.
For whatever it's worth, lawyer Tom is listening. And he heard your confession earlier, and here's what he writes. Yeah. Luigi admitting violating the Sherman Act antitrust law, and yes, statute of limitations is 5 years from the last wrongful act, so he should be okay.
Yeah, wasn't that some guy Sherman in the war, Sherman tanks or something?
Well, that was yeah.
I'm gonna plead ignorance.
Yeah, I had no idea about these. What's antitrust? What are we talking about here? We have absolutely no working idea. All right, the collision course seems clear on the women's side. What have you seen? Anything? I mean, that has surprised you to this point, or is it going to be inevitable? Obviously, U.S. and Canada.
Oh, it's inevitable. It's going to be those two, but nothing surprises me. But I'm so impressed by how cohesive this American team is, and how they're so focused on what they're trying to accomplish. And the only thing, and that's just a skeptical part of me whenever you get to a big game like this, the only thing I worry about is being overconfident, because they've just had a record that's only matched by Canadians did the same thing one time where they went right through with one goal against. But this team is so well balanced, and they're so intense, and they are so talented that they really should win. They are the best team. Whether they win or not against Canada, they are the best team. And it's, in one game series always scares me because of
that's it.
What goaltending could do, or a fluky goal or something. But if they both play the way they can play, and they both get equal breaks and equal goaltending, U.S. will win. And they deserve to win. They've dominated the Canadians all year long in the other kind of series that they had, the rivalry series that they play, and they had 4 games in that. And the opening game, even though the Canadian team got their captain back, Poulin, who's an excellent player, one player doesn't make the difference in the talent difference in those two teams right now, because the U.S. is clearly more talented, and they're a joy to watch. I mean, they are hungry, and I think that they know what their mission is, and it's going to be tough to deter them.
Well, as you say, what makes it so nerve-wracking for someone, like if you're running it, like you would be, or Billy Guerin is now, is also what makes it so damned appealing. Best of 1.
Yeah.
It's not a best of 7 where we know we get more of the real best team, but that's the beauty of the Olympics, right? That's what stands out about it. You don't have to beat them 4 times. You only have to beat them once.
That's it. You only have to beat them once, and that's the key. I mean, you just look. I watched this the high flyers today, whatever they call them, air skiers.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, the American kid came out and he performed something he's never been done before, and it was just out of this world. And he shoots them right into first place, and then he's in first place for 2 minutes. There's one guy left, the Norwegian, who was in second place, and he comes up with something that he always done, and he beats the American for the gold. The Olympics, I guess you'd have to say the best thing about it is everything isn't inevitable.
Yes.
You have all these surprises when you never expect to have them, because the pressure on these athletes and the willingness to try things and do things to win, it just has no bounds. And so you watch that Italian skier that she won both gold medals. I mean, a year ago she couldn't walk, and she's still hurting. And in fact, she said she'd rather not have had the accident than have these 2 gold medals, because her legs affected for life, and she's not going to be able to do the things she wants to do. But to come up with those kind of runs, that's what makes this so phenomenal. I mean, the Olympics are just, it's such an experience to play in it, and you really can't tell people what it feels like, because it's such a unique experience to compete in the Olympics, to sit there and be ready to go out for your event or your game, whatever it is, and be sitting in that locker room or that dressing room, and what goes through your head and how you feel, because you never feel like it's just about you. Then you don't even think it's about, I want to win. It's because oh, we got to win. The people who want us to win.
Yep.
Everybody wants us to win. You're not even thinking about yourself. You're just thinking about the people, the fans, the country. It's so different than playing. I sat in that locker room, played Stanley Cup playoffs and played huge games. And to sit in a locker room and play an Olympic game was so completely different. The feeling, the way you get ready, what you think about, it's such a phenomenal experience that's why it takes about 4 years to have these kind of games, because it takes that kind of adrenaline and pressure to go through to get to that level.
Well, to your point, we were talking about this earlier, actually yesterday, following up on the story about the quad god, Ilya Malinin, who ends up finishing 8th after a disastrous long-form program in the free skate after winning his last 14 events in a row. And Gaardsy was mentioning that a couple of the analysts are saying, what can happen is you can make the mistake of thinking about all those things you just mentioned right before, in this case, you go out on the ice, and that's the worst thing you can do, because then nothing is natural about what you do. If you get too caught up in, oh my God, look at everything that is at stake here, and we'll never know what contributed to what happened to the quad god, whether that had anything to do with it or not. But
I don't know if you heard him when he first came to where they sit waiting for the score, and he said to his father, "See, they should have taken me to Beijing." I didn't know anything about that. I was just listening. And I'm thinking that, he should have made the Beijing team. He didn't. And he was saying to him, if I'd have had that experience to get me ready, I wouldn't have had this problem.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're saying. And when he felt like that, I said to my wife, that kid is going to have the longest 4 years of his life. After all he's accomplished and going there, you don't wake up in the morning and say, okay, let's go out and do it. I'm going to win it today.
That's it.
It's like when we lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, and everybody's thinking it was great to get in the Stanley Cup Finals. The mayor calls me the next morning, Louis, we're going to have a parade. We want you guys for a parade. We're not having a parade. We lost. Yep. I said, I don't go in parades when we lose. And all I could think of was, will I ever get back here?
Yes, that's it.
And how hard it was to get there. And that's what had to be going through his mind.
No question.
And to suffer for 4 years to get that opportunity. And I just feel so bad for these people that never reach the level they should reach, because it was 5. Do you realize the 6th guy won that figure skating? All 5 before, they all lost. I think all 5 fell too.
Yep. It's so true, but also what you're describing, as much as I wouldn't want to wish it on my worst enemy, is again the drama of the competition. It's what the old Wide World of Sports Open that you, I'm sure, remember well. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. All of it is what drives it to a place like no other event. That again, it's tough to see somebody crash and burn the way he did. But that's part of the story, and who wins instead, and the drama associated with it's what you said. You can say, here's who's supposed to win, and here's how it's supposed to go, but none of that necessarily matters often at the Olympics, and that's what I think draws a lot of people to it.
That's exactly right. Look at Lindsey Vonn's story.
Yes.
They could be playing her in defeat like they used to have in ABC. All she went through and all the preparation, and 5 inches she hits that. Oh my God! It's unfortunate, but that's what makes sports great. On top of it, but that's why the interest is there for sports. That's why people watch. That's why people want to be there. You don't know the ending.
You've nailed it. That's it. And by the way, having aesthetically gorgeous backdrops like in Italy, that doesn't hurt either.
I've had the good fortune of being a 7 or so Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I still, and I didn't go to the Cortina, but I was in Torino, and I played in Grenoble. And those European backgrounds with the atmosphere, the different lifestyle, and that, it's so enchanting. It's so different. And to look, if you've had the good fortune of going through Cortina, which I have, in that mountain area, and how the Dolomites are mind-boggling, and to have that backdrop to that kind of entertainment, it's just a wonderful experience.
It's astonishing for sure. Larry Mondello guy writes this: it's too bad Louis didn't facilitate the Joe Smith signing for the Timberwolves. There might have been some secret under-the-table money exchange, but he wouldn't have gotten caught. See, that's
right.
The beauty of Louis. You knew how to not get caught. Unfortunately, the Wolves were not that smart.
You know, too many times people make things known that they shouldn't be make known when they're doing deals.
Yes, that's the moral of the story. You're right. That's very true. Great stuff as always, my friend. We'll chat next week, if not sooner. Thank you, Louis.
Look forward to it. You take care. See
you
guys.
as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Lou Nanne, brought to you by Kemp's, as always. A couple other Winter Olympic nuggets I want to stay with in our final 30 minutes today. Did you say we got Gopher men's basketball coming up on the Fan later tonight? Yeah, they are at still on the West Coast. So men's basketball tonight. Gaardsy's women's basketball team on the Fan tomorrow against, I believe, 10th ranked Ohio State, right? They're ranked 10th?
Yes.
Good matchup. Do you like the matchups for us?
It's interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
It's interesting.
So are you on with me tomorrow?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
so
until
tomorrow,
like 4:30 or so.
Remind me then, the first 90 minutes, we have to, I wanted to devote a segment to the Gophers sometime before that game. We'll do that maybe tomorrow to give you a chance to explain exactly what seems to be emerging there.
The pregame to the pregame show.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
We'll do the pregame to the pregame show. I like it.
Exactly what I'm hoping. Are there?
Bloated?
Yeah, not a lot of them, I don't think. I guess, could you technically be a bit more full-figured if you were in Laval's favorite sport? Curling?
I think that's your best chance. Yeah.
Like Nordic combined, I don't think your chances are good.
No.
Luge?
No. Probably
I
not
don't think
luge.
your chance. Downhill, I doubt it.
Hockey, no.
Hockey, unlikely.
Figure skating, no.
Figure skating, definitely not. Yeah.
Ice dancing, no. Curling's probably your best bet.
That's probably it. Speaking of, you want to hit the sounder?
Oh, the
Might as
Olympic
well.
sounder?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
we haven't done it yet today, and we do have a couple of good Olympic nuggets to discuss in our never-ending effort to match the desire, the audience, the clear ratings grabber that the Winter Olympics is in this market, as we discussed just the other day. There's a demand out there for sure. Have you heard the story about Ilana Myers-Taylor?
I don't know.
She has been searching for Olympic gold for 41 years.
Wow.
And now she got it. She had competed over her career in both two-woman bobsled and monobob.
Oh, I did hear this one, yeah.
3 silvers, 2 bronzes, more than once. Misses the top of the gold medal stand by fractions of a second. She goes back home to Texas each time saying, I'm not going to give up. And last night, she finally got there. A 41-year-old mother of 2 young children set a record as the oldest Winter Olympic champion in an individual event ever. Her quote, I thought it was impossible. The highlight, the video of her reaction, talk about thrill of victory. It's worth taking a look if you find it. I saw it some last night. And the kicker is, according to this Wall Street Journal story, once upon a time, she wanted to represent the U.S. in softball. That was the game she played on scholarship at George Washington University. She has a bad tryout, fails to make the team. As the story that she tells is, my parents saw bobsled on TV and said, hey, want to try this sport? And she said, hey, I might want to be a bobsledder. And the rest is history. Her in the 2018 games in, do you have it? Pyeongchang?
It takes too long to find.
Sorry, Pyeongchang. Her two-woman team finished 0.07 seconds behind the winning tandem. Beijing, she fought concussions and COVID that spoiled another dream. She was supposed to be... Sorry, repeat that? Pyeongchang. She was supposed to be Team USA's flag bearer. You get a lot of people that like to write you off as soon as you reach 40. It's all downhill from there.
Preach.
Said her 40-year-old U.S. teammate, Kaylee Humphreys, Ambruster, who took bronze. I think Ilana and I are both proof that that's not true. So she figured this is probably going to be her last shot. She entered the fourth and final heat of the monobob, in which the winner is determined by the cumulative total of all four times. She trailed the leader by 0.15 seconds, then went hurtling down the track for the run that would change everything. She wins gold by 0.04 seconds. Now, I'd never heard of her before the Olympics. I doubt that you had either.
Nope.
But these are the great stories. You don't have to have heard of her, but you can relate to the human drama of it and the thrill of victory in this case. Trying again, and trying a fourth time.
Finding a different sport.
Finally getting there at the age of 40. What did I say? 41 years old? 41-year-old mother of two young children. She now is the oldest Winter Olympic champion in an individual event. I thought I saw one of those opportunities where a local station guy was given a chance to get on a bobsled and
didn't go well.
Well, not surprisingly, he just said, this is insane. I think the quote was, I thought my body was going to break into pieces like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Because, again, I don't think you can appreciate the speed.
Right.
And even the torque that's involved in all of this.
You think you're just going sledding.
Yeah, you're just kind of going sledding.
Yeah,
and you're
down a
on
hill.
this closed track where there's no stopping. And you're just gone. Like you're shot out of a cannon, for God's sake. And that sounds about right to me when I look at it. So congratulations.
Can't you do some type of simulation? Have you ever been to the Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center?
Yeah, I have actually, years and years ago. But
I swear,
but I don't think I've ever been. I never got on anything.
No, I think you can visit though as just like a rube, and I'm pretty sure you can take like a test run. I don't think they put you in like a real bobsled, but it's one that kind of gives you some type of thrill like that. Because that would be fun.
That makes sense.
It'd be fun to try.
That definitely makes sense.
Provided, it was somewhat safe and they were watching you.
What is, among the Scandinavian countries, where does Norwegian in the Twin Cities rank? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? I mean, I think of, obviously, Norway and Sweden. Of those two, and I guess you got to put Finland in the mix somewhere, but how many Norwegians do we have? Do we have more Swedes than we do Norwegians, or those who came from the old country or had parents or grandparents? Do we know which is dominant here? I bring it up.
Norway and Sweden primarily,
neck and neck. Okay,
but also significant contributions from Finland and Denmark.
Oh, Denmark, yeah, that's true. They're in there too.
Norwegians, according to AI, which has never been wrong, constitute a major portion of the population.
For the record,
the guards are Norwegian.
You are Norwegian. Yeah. Well, through Monday, so through yesterday, I don't know. I don't have the updated count. Norway is number 1 in the Milano Cortina Games with 12 gold medals.
Yep.
And, the question's always asked, a country with the population of Minnesota, a country with the population of Minnesota, how does it continue to be as dominant as it is? Is it history? Is it tradition? Whatever the case may be. But they're on top of the world again in a dominant place. And I'm reminded in this story that 1984 Olympics, the first one I covered, which was Sarajevo, Winter Olympics, they had only 3 gold medals, which was about their most paltry performance ever. And the country was so devastated and alarmed by it, they started something called Project 88 to say, we got to get back on the map. And by the way, for the record, 88, they were even worse. Did not go well at all. But since then, maybe Lillehammer being the key breakthrough, since then, they're on a very natural high. They are dominant in the Winter Olympics once again.
It does. I would like to know a little bit more about that, because something that has been circulating on social media the last few weeks, and I think it happens every Winter Olympics, is people write like think pieces about their youth development and how they deal with sports compared to
how we do it,
how America does it, which is literally the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And basically all of us that are in, and you're in it too, the youth sports meat grinder, you all look at this as like a beacon of normalcy, of like how they, it's about participation and fun, and there's not specialization, and not everything's capitalistic and this whole deal, which is essentially the exact opposite of what we've got going on right now. And I want to know if that's actually true or not, or if it just sounds good on Twitter threads. That's
a great question. And in this story, they go with that same narrative. And I guess the question is always, are they going with it because it's true? Or are they going with it because that's what people keep saying? The philosophy of humanistic development and joy for all.
Right.
Raising happy children, focused athletes, and healthy citizens, they talk about. We think it's an advantage for us that it's very difficult to understand why it's working. They prioritize having fun over winning. They make sure costs are low and participation is high. They encourage kids to sample, wait for it, as many sports as possible.
Yeah.
And don't force youth athletes to specialize too early. It sounds too good to be true, and maybe it's more complicated than this, but all those, if that's part of the recipe, is obviously very, very appealing. And by the way, I guess you could say the poster boy, who I think we've talked about before, is this Johannes Klæbo, the ski sprinting advertisement he's described here for the Norway model. And he's the guy who can win. I don't know how many golds he's won yet, but he is projected to have a chance to win as many as 6 gold medals as well. I don't know and I think he's on his way to doing exactly that.
I would say the counter argument to that would be, well, we hear about them in the Winter Olympics and in nothing else, right?
That's true.
We don't hear about them in basketball. Yes. Obviously in hockey it's different. Or other sports worldwide. I don't think Norway's, locked in on the World Cup that's coming here in a couple of years. So I don't know. He's already,
we talked about him when he shattered the record for career Winter Olympic golds, held by 3 other athletes who, by the way, are also all Norwegian. But coming to Italy, there were no guarantees of another glorious winter. The country was reeling from the national shame. Forgot about this. How could I? National shame of being caught illegally modifying the crotches of ski jumping suits. That was the Norwegians. Once the games began, they were humiliated again by another kind of cheating scandal. They've had several of their own, but
interesting.
They've overall still performed extremely very well. It's fair to say, and they're practically one of us, right? You're Norwegian.
I am. Absolutely. Rasmus Gaard. He started it all.
Well, maybe that's instead of tennis. Maybe you should have been a winner. Should have pursued the dream of Winter Olympic domination, culminating. How old would you have been in Lillehammer? Lillehammer was 94. How old were you then?
I would have been 12. I would have needed
a little later.
Salt Lake would probably have been mine. It would have been a great story.
That'd been a hell of a story.
Yeah, Belinda would have interviewed me on Carol 11.
We probably would have had you on.
And Perk at Play.
Yes.
Yeah. I could have been on Chad. No, Chad and Barrero was gone by then.
Yeah,
could have been on Chad or Barrero. You guys could have fought over me. It would have been great. Doogie and Roofsy would have had a hell of a battle.
That's Chadless Barrero.
Programming on the Fan, including the show wrap, is brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the bumper-to-bumper show wrap.
Don't forget, tonight on the FM 100.3 Juggernaut, high 9 o'clock, Golden Gopher men's basketball at Oregon. 9 o'clock tap or pregame, whatever the case may be.
Pregame 9.
With Mike Grimm. The Gopher men, shorthanded, again, continue a Pacific Northwest road trip. That is tonight on FM 100.3, The Fan. Fan and the Man following us as usual, and Dan Patrick. Kessler is scheduled for tomorrow. I thought we had something else tomorrow. Am I wrong?
I mean, maybe Kevin Seifert.
Oh, yeah, we have to figure out what else we need for, because we got Royce coming in studio Thursday. We got Mike Conley on Thursday as well. I want to thank Lavelle, who gave us some bonus time today. And also want to thank Pulitzer Prize-winning writer Jonathan Eig, who joined today as we did Ode to a Dead Guy, involving, of course, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who passed away at the age of, I think, 84 years old. Great stuff from Eig, who's written the definitive MLK biography, and reminded us that it was Jesse Jackson who, when Eig was working on his outstanding Muhammad Ali biography, said, by the way, how about a King book? What do you think? And he was urged by several people, and Andrew Young as well. So that was kind of an interesting nugget from him. That was much earlier in the program. He joined about 3:15 or so to about 3:35. Dr. Phil reminds us, let's remember that the best athletes in Minnesota tend to play football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer. Norway can clearly focus on more easily some of those than our country. And it's true, Norway tends to dominate individual sports. They don't have much participation
That's the
and
comeback.
medal counts in the team sports. So it's a matter of just, whose ox is being gored and different approaches to it. It is interesting that they are dominating anything, given the population is about equal to the state of Minnesota.
But apparently they raise happy citizens, which is something we struggled to do.
We think it's much darker here?
It feels like it, doesn't it? I don't know.
Or is that just sensationalistic reporting by the media jackals?
I guess we'll have to go. Maybe I'll have to go to the home country someday.
Might be. You should.
Investigate
You absolutely
for myself.
should. You should. You should definitely.
I look a lot like Rasmus Gaard, by the way.
Do you really?
We have a picture with him, yeah. If I was in high school, a young Gaardsy,
you realize
the resemblance is striking.
We found out yesterday, Chad Barrero's show, last show together was 25 years ago yesterday, which means that the first Bumper to Bumper is coming up on the 25-year anniversary there, too. And I had the year wrong. It's official. Because Dan Minnesota found Judd Zulgad reporting back in the day when there was an actual media reporter, and a good one, who covered this stuff. Has all kinds of stuff, and it was 2001. For years, I told people, when did you and Chad split up? It's 2002.
Yeah.
I just made it up. And you say it often enough, because no one ever really disagreed with me, or no one even seemed to care here. So it's like, okay, we'll just go with 2002. Turns out it was 2001. It's very emotional to think about now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.